Okay. All right, listen. I didn't really want to film this video, but I had to take a break from filming another video to film this video because I had to get this off my chest, all right? And what I really want to talk about is like the big issue with Yu-Gi-Oh! As of today. So, this isn't one of those, oh my god, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying type of videos, because I mean, the game is doing objectively really well, right? Like the sales rates are through the roof. We just got a new ban list and everything, but I don't know. I've had so many ill experiences playing competitively in the Yu-Gi-Oh space, and it's not due to game mechanic. It's not due to any of that. It's some of the people in the community that don't make the game very fair or fun for your average player, right? So, because I am your average player. Yes, I've topped extravaganzas. I've won rogue tournaments. I go undefeated at locals, whatever. Those are small accomplishments for myself, right? But here's the problem. And this is something that, like, if you are watching our stream, this is something that I bring up often, but only after there's been some like drama somewhere, right? I mean, and if you are a viewer of our stream, let the other people know in the comment section down below, what really does happen. But yeah, so my biggest thing is, if you want to be a competitive player, there's two things you need to know how to do, right? One is you got to know the game pretty well, right? Like, we have 10,000 cards in the game. We have 1,000 different strategies. We have hundreds of different archetypes, etc., right? But now, my problem comes where we deal with the second part of the issue, right? The second thing you need to have to be a competitive player, and that's, you have to know how to maneuver the competitive scene, right? Like, as a newer player, more experienced players would tell me, hey, like, this guy just cheated you. He stacked his deck because he piled 8 cards and didn't riffle or shuffle his deck. Or, oh, the way he activated these chain links, he told you like the card effect wrong, or he tried to chain block when he couldn't. Like, these things do come when you know more about the game. But the issue is, like, there are some things that no matter what you do to learn the game, and no matter what you do to get better at the game, these things don't help, because there are players out there who will do whatever they can to win 2 more OTS packs than you at a locals, or win a playmat, or this quote-unquote non-existent clout you have as a quote-unquote professional Yu-Gi-Oh player, right? Now, when we started this channel, I started the channel by prefacing, like, listen, I'm a casual player. I'll play competitively here and there. And I realized the more, like, I played competitively, it was to kind of prove a point, because, like, as a YouTuber and someone who, has, like, thousands of viewers, like, I need to know what I'm talking about. So from that point alone, I just unironically do need to be good at the game, right? And fortunately for me, I get to play with amazing players like Nim, Pac, MBT, Distant Coder, Steve, Trifanovsky. Like, I have the opportunity to play and learn amongst all these higher level players like Cody Angeloff, and all these people, right? You're gonna have to believe me here. Just trust me, okay? And these are the same people that are telling me, like, yo, like, why didn't you catch this person cheating you at locals? Or why didn't you catch this? Why didn't you catch... I just don't know. As a newer, more casual player who can hang with the quote-unquote big dogs, I don't know these techniques and these small nuances that help players edge out in games where they just couldn't win, right? Konami has a huge issue with time rulings, right? There was a game where I activated Solemn Judgment with like 17 minutes left on the clock, and my opponent tried everything to stall for time, because that was his only win condition. His only win condition was to stall for time, right? Because I had less life points than he did. I'm sure there are so many of you in the comment section right now who know this pain and who've dealt with this before. Whether you were on the giving end or the receiving end, it happens a lot. And like, it's these small nuances that kind of turn newer and more casual players away from the game. And there's not much that, I can do as a single person, or even this community that I've built, from day one. There's not much that we can do. I mean, it's even in the most recent Konami Invitational stream, they were streaming it. They were like, if you see it, say something, right? But they had it on subscriber only mode, and you can't subscribe to them, so you can't say anything. And like, here's another issue with that, right? It's like Konami themselves need to be able to enforce these rules to the T, right? Like, they need to be enforced, they need to be strict, and they need to be able to tell players, look, listen, you want to cheat, go ahead, but if you get caught, you are never playing this game ever again, right? And even then, there are players who've cheated in front of hundreds of people during live streams. And on top of that, even when we are playing these Konami sanctioned events, we're not allowed to stream those events. There are some locals where, I do play, where they do allow you to stream these events. And there was an instance where I did. There was a ruling that couldn't be fixed without visual evidence, and the stream allowed them to have that visual evidence to solve an irreparable game state. Without this stream evidence, the other player would have gotten a game loss or a match loss. So it's things like that that don't really make sense. And I've had a player slow play me at the extravaganza, which knocked me out of top 8 actually. And I remember sitting in a room with like multiple Konami representatives and multiple like head judges and tournament organizers. And they were just basically like, hey, you should have called a judge. And as a newer and more casual player, calling a judge is not my first instinct. My first instinct is to be like, yo, listen, I understand you made a mistake. Why don't you just take it back and we can move on, right? Let's just repair the game state and move on. But the problem with being too lenient in that sense is that now your opponent knows that they can take advantage of you, right? And now, I'm not saying that every person is like that. By no means am I saying that. But I'm saying there are some people who will take the opportunity to take advantage of you for being too lenient. And my biggest advice for any newer or more casual player coming into the game is this, right? Yeah, learn the game, learn your deck, be good at the game. That's important. Being good at the game is super important, right? Because if you're good at the game, you can uphold, the most legal game states and, outplay your opponent. Legitimately outplaying your opponent is so rewarding, and that's what like keeps me in the game. But every time I decide I want to play any higher level competitive anything in Yu-Gi-Oh, people just start getting, I don't know, just overly competitive, and that kind of makes them do things they may not normally do. Now, again, like as a casual and newer player, I don't know these small tips and tricks when it comes to like cheating or stacking my deck or shuffling in a certain way to see the cards that I've sided in. Because if you guys see on stream all the time, like I shuffle, I riffle, I ask my opponent, hey, how would you want me to cut? There's things, especially now that we're remote dueling, there are things that need to be upheld, things that need to be done more strictly, right? And that's changing phases, calling your phases, declaring your moves, asking, hey, what column is that card in? Because now you're not sitting across the table from someone where you can just physically see everything that they're doing, right? Like there are a lot of players who remote duel who you don't even see their cards, or their hands are just off the camera, like, and all of a sudden they have that out to every single card that you have on the board, which always feels suspect. And this is the one thing that like I always want to tell people who want to get into remote dueling, because unfortunately that's the only way we're playing with the real cards, is that to, don't be hesitant and don't be so lenient. If you feel like your opponent could be doing something better, or he is not doing something that you asked of him, you make sure you call the judge, because at the end of the day, the only thing a judge will tell you after you've lost in time, or after you've lost because somebody scummed you, the only thing they're going to tell you is, you should have called the judge, I wasn't there, nothing I could do about it, I can't repair the pairings just for you. I've heard it all. You know why? Because I've been at the butt end of this for so long, I guess, and for so many times that like that's just what it is. And again, I don't want to like deter anyone from remote dueling, but just be careful, because if you've paid to play at a locals, or if you've paid an entry fee to play at a bigger tournament, people are there to win, and they will unfortunately do whatever it takes to win. And it sucks to hear that from such a great community, because I mean, don't get me wrong, the Yu-Gi-Oh community is extremely supportive. There are so many amazing gems in the community, so many wholesome people, and you know, I truly believe that like I've built a wholesome community under myself, under the Head-to-Head banner. And now I want to thank each and every one of you guys. But unfortunately, not everyone is like that, and not everyone thinks like we do in terms of fair play. So I want this video to be sort of a PSA for, you know, people who do not play fairly, and for those who want to get started. You know, join the Discord. Our links are down in the description box down below. You know, we have Konami sanctioned judges, we have dueling book judges, we have rooms where you can safely remote duel. You know, no one in our Discord, or, you know, at least in the Head-to-Head community, because I can't speak for anybody else, you know, no one's like that here. And if you guys want to play with us, you know, on stream, make sure to be following us over at twitch.tv/headtoheadbattles. And yeah, I mean, I kind of want this video, this was kind of my like first ever rant video on the channel. And, you know, like I mentioned before, I was actually recording another video, but I wasn't feeling it, because this was just like on the tip of my tongue, on the top of my heart, you know, and I just had to let you guys know. But yeah, you know, I freaking love you guys. Again, we're really close to 10,000 subs, so make sure you guys are subscribed, liking, and comment on this video. You know, like, did you ever feel suspected, or you know, were you ever cheated or anything like that? You know, and make sure to hit that notification bell, because I mean, if you like rant videos like this, I'll definitely do more. But you know, I'm trying to do more fun content like those challenge videos, those pack opening challenge videos. Man, we gotta bring those back. I'm just waiting for warmer weather and not a pandemic to be happening. All right, so guys, this is Susu from Head-to-Head Battles. I freaking love you, and I'm signing out.